You're listening to episode 117 of the Master Your Mind, Business, and Life podcast. Doubts, fears, anxieties, they are all part of everyday life and they are fueled when we are in crisis moments like this pandemic. Sometimes we've got to be coached through these moments, and lucky for us all, this week we're talking with Tanya. Tanya J. Miller is a certified life coach and author with over 18 years' experience with the youth, young adults, and women throughout the community and in ministry to pursue purpose, passion, and destiny. I am excited to share this conversation with you. But first, it has been a hot minute since I have shared a review with you, and you know I value your feedback. This review comes from a submission on the mindbizlife.com website from Carrie M, and it reads, I've been listening to the show for about 6 months, and each week I'm excited to learn something new. I reached out to Lauren on Instagram not long ago to connect, and I ended up seeking guidance from her shortly after. Lauren is as genuine as they come. Thank you, Lauren, for the show and for helping us all fuel our lives. I'm sure you can imagine how my heart was just bursting with joy after I read that review. So if something resonates with you during today's episode, I encourage you to share it with me. Take a screenshot that you're listening, post it on social media, tag me in it. I'm everywhere at MindBizLife, or even share this episode with a friend. With your help, this podcast is now in 111 countries and growing. Seriously, how amazing is that? Okay, are you ready to meet Tanya? You know what to do. Tune in, turn it up, let's go.
You're listening to Master Your Mind, Business and Life. Conversations with everyday world shifters, truth seekers, and rule breakers. Here's your host, Lauren Smith.
Hey everyone, it's Lauren Smith. Welcome back to another episode. Today's guest is author, speaker, coach, and strategist Tanya J. Miller. Hey Tanya, welcome to the show. I've got to say, while I am always pumped to talk to guests, I think this whole social distancing and staying home thing has me extra thankful for adult conversations.
Well, thank you. And I'm excited to be here today, Lauren, for sure. I think
Oh.
we all are enjoying this opportunity to talk virtually with each other.
Yes, yes, it's communication at its finest, always figuring out a new way to keep life rolling. Just keep it
Absolutely.
going. Well, let's just start off with getting to know you. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you into life coaching.
Absolutely. So my name is Tanya J. Miller. Honestly, I got started with my blog, which is called Talking with Tanya. It was a part of a business, or rather nonprofit that I had probably, y'all, I'm aging myself, but about 15 years ago. And a huge aspect of that was mentorship. That was the base of the
Mm,
nonprofit, but also the blog, Talk with Tanya. And that was me kind of just, helping people figure out how to fit the puzzle pieces of life together, because it was geared towards young adults. And literally, in that 20s age frame, you're literally trying to figure it all out. Like, you're going from college, you might be in college, trying to figure out if you're going to go to get your master's, if you're going to start a family, get married, career, kids, like the whole nine. And so I felt like you have to figure it out, how to fit it all together, how to make sense. And so that was kind of the basis, and it still stuck with me. So even though I dissolved the nonprofit, I kept the blog. And so um, started with that, and then eventually I wrote a book, and it actually was not a book when I first started.
oh.
It was, the book is called Mind Matters, and it's not an autobiography, but it's about a time when I literally felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was in my own head. I felt like I was just going through so much, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate for the
Mm,
times that we're dealing with right now. And so I wrote it almost like a journal, but I think I was probably maybe just going to do a blog on it. But basically, to talk to people about, I was like, I don't want anybody else to feel like this. I don't want anybody to not know how to get out of this or how to go through this or walk them through it. And so I started writing. And
mm,
I also wrote it from the aspect of, um, you know, there are people that love you and care about you, but they don't know how to talk to you when you're going through a mental illness or, a lot of anxiety or stress or just a difficult time or trauma. And so I
Mm.
also wrote it from that aspect too. And so writing the book kind of 5 years ago helped me to realize that a lot of what I was doing, I was already doing it, but to kind of package it all together and take up from my strengths of what I was doing, with helping out, with mentoring and leading and talking with young adults and kind of already coaching already. I was like, I'm already doing this, so let's
Right.
bring the aspects of what I'm good at and pull it all together. And so that's how I got started and officially, branded and started the business.
Oh my goodness. Well, gosh, you just gave me so many juicy details. I don't even know where I want to start. But I'm like, okay. I'm like, there's so many places that we could go from this. But let's start with putting the puzzle pieces of your life together because I think
Yes.
that's really profound. What are the first
Mhm.
steps of doing that and making it all make sense for you?
Honestly, the times that we're in right now, a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do, but it's really a good time to do it because you have the opportunity to sit with yourself. That's sometimes very difficult for people, so that's why the anxiety might be high or the stress may be high. But being alone with yourself isn't a bad thing. It's just kind of facing that fear and walking through it. But that's kind of the first piece I tell anybody. Is kind of sit with yourself, really sit and be in that stillness and get back to that center and oneness of who you are, so that you can know yourself again. Because a lot of times we're just running and doing life for everyone else. But when we start to just sit with ourselves and kind of come back into, hey, who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And start asking those real tough questions, to start really getting real with yourself. That's how you can begin to let it make sense, because a lot of
Mm,
times it's not making sense because we're not doing the work to make it work and to figure out how to fit it together. We're just doing life instead of
right.
and letting life do us, if you will. So
Yeah. What about like someone, I don't want to cut you off because I feel like there's
no,
more
no,
puzzle pieces, but I'm like there's definitely more puzzle pieces to
no,
this
no,
story.
you're
But
good.
what about people who are like almost silence is fear driven? Like I don't
Yeah.
want to get into my thoughts. Like I try to stay busy because I don't want to sit in that. That can almost push you away. And maybe people who are, I feel like there's a lot of silence in the world right now.
Hmm.
How can they not let their minds just overrun with that fear, anxiety, doubts, etc.?
Well, I always suggest, I'm a firm believer in therapy. And so a lot of people think therapy is like the big ugly word and different things like that, but it's not. Therapy helps you to figure out coping and tools and techniques to work through it. And so if that's something you can't do alone, meaning face those fears and come one to one with yourself,
Mm,
have somebody that can come alongside you and that can work with you through it, and to help you to develop those techniques to where it's a healthy approach and it's not something that you spiral or you lose control or different things like that. So definitely, if that's a challenge for you to do, you know telehealth is what they are doing now, so take advantage of it.
yeah.
If you have work for a company, a lot of times they have EAP, and those sessions are free. You don't even have to use your deductible. So
Mm,
take advantage of that if that's if the silence and the self distancing is starting to feel like isolation, so
yeah.
that you can do that work. Because I don't want you to not take advantage of the work because you're afraid. You
Yeah.
know, as hard as it may be to face those fears, know that you don't have to do it alone either, though, if
Mm,
you can't.
mm. And doing the work, I think, is so important to even
Absolutely.
emphasize because I don't know if people really know what doing the work is. Like my friends was like, but I'm going to yoga. And I was like, right.
Are you calling her out, Lord?
And I am. She'll listen. And she knows I love her. But I was like, right, that's a great start. But that's
Yeah,
not doing the work, right?
yeah.
So how would you define doing the work?
Like you said, it's definitely a great start. It could be a combination of things. If the yoga gets you into the mode of, listening to yourself, asking yourself those tough
Mm,
questions, it's a good start, but don't
right.
stop there. You know what I mean? Don't stop there. A lot of times when we hit that surface level, we're like, okay, I'm good. I'm back again, and
Yeah.
it's like, no, you still got some more work to do.
Keep
Like
going.
you didn't finish digging deep into why you responded that way, or
Mm,
why you felt that way, or where did it come from. And so that's a lot of what the work has to deal with. As a coach, I'm going to push you and I'm going to challenge you and I'm even going to question you. A therapist, they're going to dig in and they're going to ask you the why and where did it come from and how is it making you feel and where should you go from there. And so both of us each have our own role that we play, but both of us, are needed. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. But, like you said, yeah, the yoga is a start if it gets you to start, you know, centering
being
yourself,
mindful,
listening to
grounding.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but don't stop there. Do
Right.
some of the additional work, do some journaling, do some meditation, go to some therapy classes. I think I actually came across this amazing resource online. I think it's called in this rooms or something like that,
Mm.
and it's for free and it's basically online, different, how they have the 12-step classes, but it's for different things and it's online, and so you can just jump in the room for anything
Ah,
that you're dealing with and facing with. And I thought that was an amazing resource that
that is
is
so
very
helpful.
needed right now, for people that may be afraid, because like you said, it's fearful. It's a lot of fear to face yourself. But when you can face yourself and become one, that's where you have the opportunity to really begin to walk in your purpose, walk in your authority, walk in your fierceness, and be bold and unashamed, and really know that you're going down the right path and the right journey.
You just dropped so much truth. My goodness. There is so much in there and it's so true. It's like part of owning your powers. You
Yes.
have to know yourself. No one else is going to know you like you know you.
Yes, that is something my mom like literally said. I talk about it in my book, Things My Mama Said, and I say, and it's I'm from Texas, so y'all gonna hear the twang in this. And she's from East Texas. But basically she would say, "Can't nobody beat you being you," and she taught us that at an early age because it's the truth. Like a lot of
Mm,
times we think other people are the example, and if we're not like them or we're not doing that or we don't have what they have, then we're not enough. But no, like you're enough in and of yourself. You know that,
right.
you own it, and you're good. You don't have to worry about anything else.
I love that. I love that so much. All right, give me some more puzzle pieces. So so we've got the mind. We're always going to start with the mind and getting centered and grounded and whole there. What else do we need to kind of make life work together for you?
I definitely would say, like you said, we started with the mind, but then kind of, just, doing an evaluation of the realness of you. Like, what are you good at? Like, what
Mm,
do you like to do? What makes you happy? What are your skills? What are your talents? What are your gifts? Because that's a part of it. Like if you're trying to figure out why you're stuck, you could be stuck because you're doing the wrong thing. You're in the wrong profession. Like you went down a path because it was easy or it was presented to you, but it may not have been what you should have been doing because it wasn't a part of your passion. A lot of times the stuckness comes because we don't want to face the fact that we made those decisions to
mm,
get to that place and we're unhappy, but we did it. Like part of it is owning it. And once you own it, then starts to say, okay, what am I responsible to do to fix it? Not just in my mind, but the actual works part of it. Like, what do I have to do? Do I need to go back to get some different classes, a certification? Do I need to learn a new skill, a new trade? Do I need to network? Do I need to connect? Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to get out of my comfort zone and actually go, meet new people, and become sociable. Like some of the
right.
things that get in our own way are us because we made decisions and now we're mad. But you can't be mad if the only way you can remain mad at yourself if you choose not to do anything about it. So
Mm.
the next part is the works and choosing to do something.
Yeah. And you can't own something and be like, yeah, I own that, but there's
Yeah,
there's no but that follows it.
correct. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And what else do we got? Any other good valuable tips?
You know, in addition to, like you said, starting with thinking about making the changes and then doing the works, I would say the last piece about it, is really just putting it all together in, making, if you will, a plan.
Yeah.
It's like you know what you do, you see what you need to do, now do the work, like make the plan, and know that it may not happen overnight either. Like, be real with yourself about it. You didn't get, I have a old friend back, when I lived in Virginia. I call her, I was like, you are like my superhero when it comes to fitness. Like, you're all, like, she's bad. And she sends out this encouragement still today. And one of the things that she would always say, which is something a lot of health people say, is you didn't get to this overnight. Like, you didn't get to this weight overnight. You didn't get to
Mm,
these eating habits overnight. You didn't get to this situation, this marriage, this job. You didn't get to any of it overnight. So be real with yourself and be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself as you begin to make those changes and do the work. Know that you didn't get there overnight. So you making the shifts and the pivots and the adjustments, be patient with yourself. That, yes, you may be unhappy, but it know that the steps that you're making, the small steps, the changes, they're going to work out for your good. Give yourself time and room. And like I said, be patient and kind to
yeah.
yourself. Don't beat yourself up. So that would be the last part, is as you work in the plan,
Yeah.
be patient.
Yeah. And it sounds like a lot of grace has to accompany your
That's
patience
it.
too.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely it.
Yeah. And do we have to also take these steps? Like if someone's sitting there and they're like, I don't really know what my purpose is. Do these steps also really help us get aligned with our purpose?
Yeah, the crazy thing about that whole "what's my purpose" thing, I tell people, so it's not a Where's Waldo type thing. It's already there, it's already
Mm,
in you. As you start asking yourself those questions and doing the work and being patient with yourself, you're going to begin to realize it's been there all along. And a lot of times I tell people, the purpose, it starts kind of even with recognizing what is your passion. Like, I ask, what's your gifts? What's your talents? What are the things you like to do? What brings you happiness? What gives you hope? What gives you direction? And starting to figure that out, you begin to do the work to see what's in you. And as you begin to see what's in you, you know that that's what's already been there all along, and that is your purpose. That is your
mm,
core. That is your center. And like I said, when you start working the path and the plan, that's you orchestrating and writing your own vision and putting the work together. And then as you begin to grow in it, and it may shift, it may change, but it's still who you are at the core. That's how you start getting towards that destiny and realizing, okay, this is how it was all supposed to come together. This all
yeah.
makes sense and stuff. So yeah, beginning to fit those puzzle pieces together, get you to figuring out what the purpose has been in you and through you and for you the entire time, for sure.
I love that so much. And it is always within. And sometimes it just requires that silencing the mind and really going within.
Yes.
Oh, so I love it. Let's switch gears a little bit. I know that right now, so many entrepreneurs are experiencing just difficult moments while they're still building their brands. Do you
Yes.
have any tips or words of wisdom to help them navigate these murky waters?
Yeah, definitely, understand that nobody knows right now. I think that's a big thing to get.
Yeah,
Like, nobody knows. Like, you're not in this thing by yourself. The big corporations are trying to figure it out just as much as you. They may have some $1 million that they're throwing at it to build a strategy, but they're in the same boat. Like, they're trying to figure it out day to day, and know that honestly, it's not just a USA thing, it's a global thing that's happening. And
right.
so we're all having to figure it out. And so don't beat yourself up, because if you look at the news, American Airlines is having to figure it out, Delta, big
Mm,
restaurants and stores and all of that, and they're making some tough decisions right now. So know that you're not by yourself. Everybody is trying to figure out the uncertainty. And I actually laughed at myself when I thought about those uncertainty and then indefinitely, because I keep hearing those words, like we were talking before offline, schools are not opening. That they're saying is indefinitely. And everybody's like, well,
right.
what does that mean?
Right.
Basically, it means that they don't know. They can open tomorrow or they can open next fall. Like there
Right.
is no in between. And so I think as small business owners and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mompreneurs, whatever you are, when you begin to realize that we're in that time right now of uncertainty and indefinitely, sit in that, but know that you can still figure out how to do what you can do in it. And so, like right now, we're taking advantage of being together and you and I talking on a podcast. Like, I think the next piece of advice I would tell people is kind of to think outside the box,
Mm,
kind of figure out what you're good at and how you can translate that. A lot of times when you're going for a job, and like I said before, you may be stuck in a job and you want something else. And so I said, evaluate your skills, your talent, and your gifts, because maybe you're doing something right now, but if you look at things, those skills are transferable and you can apply for a completely different job that nobody would have expected you to do, but those skills translate. And so the same
right.
thing I would say to that small business owner. Okay, you were doing it this way, but look at your things that you are good at. Look at the things that your business does well and see how you can transfer that into this new environment that we're in, whether it's uncertain times or indefinite times. See how you can translate that and
Mm,
make it work for you. You know, you may be a baker and you may have a bakery, you did orders and different things like that. But hey, maybe you need to get online and do some master classes and do some baking lessons online and have signups or something like that,
right.
and teach people different things. Like you have to get creative in this time period,
Mm.
and be open and flexible to where we're at now and figure out where you can go from there.
Oh, I love that. Like adaptability is key right now. And if you're one of those people that kind of, drag your feet on something, you're going to get left behind. And why? Like we all have a cell phone. There's no
Mhm.
reason that you can't make a video or have, be
Absolutely.
present online. And I don't know about you, I love seeing people get so creative. Where
Mhm.
I got an email from a woman who runs yoga classes. And of course, they were in-person yoga classes. And
Mhm.
what she did was she set it up so, she sent you a particular, like maybe like Zoom link. I'm not sure, but it was
Yeah.
like, let's say it was a Zoom link, but it had a code attached to it. And then that code just let her know, like, hey, you're part of our already membership people. This is counting towards your credits. And
Yeah.
if you wanted to do it that way, then hey, join us for a class. Like, same thing. I'm still going to lead you towards it. And then
Yeah.
still go in with yoga. I know another girl who is actually getting her credits still by doing the same thing, doing a virtual class. And it's like, hey guys, if you sign up or if you, watch this yoga thing, let me know so I can add you to my quote unquote roster and I get credits for it. I'm like, brilliant. You're not letting
Yeah.
it slow your roll. You're being adaptable.
Absolutely, because like you said, the people still need it. They still need what you have to offer. They still need you to lead them, guide them. They still need your services and your products. You just may have to deliver it a different way so that they can get what you have where they're at.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you got to go to them.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, you can't wait for them to come to you all the time. Like, geez, if we could just wait for people to come to us, that would make life too easy. Oh my goodness. Well, I know our audience is just going to want more from you. Where can they go to connect with you further?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I have a vlog. It's called Talking with Tanya, and I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I have a website, tanyajmiller.com. All of my links are there, but you can get information on coaching, speaking, if you want me on your podcast, MC, panelists, different things like that, leadership strategy sessions. That's where you can find out more information about me. I have books by the way, guys. I'm an author.
Oh,
Three
hey,
projects.
drop them.
Three projects, six books, a fourth one coming out. And so, definitely I'm on Amazon. I'm on there with my books in print, digital, and audio because I'm an audio girl. I was like, yes, I have to make sure my books are in audio. So the books are in audio, digital and print. The journals are, of course, in print. I'm also in Barnes& and Noble. And then I have my online store as well called at shop.tanyajmiller.com. And that's where you can get my books. You can get what I call message merch because I'm all about a message. So things like me saying I'm unapologetic on purpose. Hey, that's a message that you can wear as
Oh,
a
I love
message tee or
that.
a message button or different things like that. So check me out. I have online classes on life and leadership at school.tanyajmiller.com as well. So check me out. I'm here to
Beautiful.
help you do life and leadership unapologetically on purpose.
I love it. I love it. I'll make sure to link all of that in this week's episode notes. Tanya, you brought so much energy to the show and definitely to my evening. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And one thing that online forum that I was talking about with the different classes that or the rooms you can go in for, if like you said, if you need any type of help or assistance or, just kind of to talk with someone, it's called intherooms.com. So
Oh,
check that out if
perfect.
you need that resource as well.
Awesome. I'm also going to check that out because that sounds super cool.
But yeah, I've enjoyed you, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me. I really have had a good time talking with you for sure.
Oh, thank you. Let me tell you, Tanya drops a lot of truth on her social channels. You will definitely want to follow her. I have linked her social media and websites and all of her other offerings on this week's episode notes found on mindbizlife.com. I would love for you to share your feedback of this week's episode by leaving a 5-star review and rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you tune in and turn it up. I'll see you back here on Friday for an episode of Fuel Your Life Friday. But until then, remember, every level of life is an opportunity to grow. Be well, my friend.